Hi guys, I'm OP. I'm a prop trader from Ashed, and I'm here to give you the market analysis of cryptocurrencies and specifically looking at it as Bitcoin moving downwards to select altcoins that we have been following. We straight away we look at Bitcoin USD perpetuals on the Hashed platform, and we can see right now we are at 94,300, and we went to a high of about 95,000 yesterday, and we got rejected at 95,000, which is within this range, this box range that I've drawn. And we pretty much anticipated this move, and we're anticipating, and we still anticipate a pullback to at least to close be above the 88,000, 89,000 levels. And once we close the weekly candle, which is tomorrow, above 89 thereabout, that still shows us we are structurally bullish. So that shows that we'll be going upwards in the near term. However, I suspect, and I think it will be healthy, and I want it to actually be healthy. If we make a pullback up to 88,000, we need a pullback in this to make it very healthy and to show strength within the bulls. So that is something I'll be looking forward to. And once we have a pullback, that I'll be loading up more to long the market further after we receive this pullback. So we'll be watching, we get this pullback, we'll be watching the markets, and we'll be paying very close attention to it so that we can act swiftly and execute. Looking at the RSI, we look oversold, and we look to be pointing to the downwards. So that's why I'm anticipating a pullback, which I think is necessary and healthy in the market, in the Bitcoin market. Looking at Solana, looking at it, it's clearly, you can see, like, I anticipated this and I knew this was happening. So it respected our levels, and we went up onto the 156 levels, and we have gotten a mini pullback, which also it is necessary. Looking at the RSI, we look like we are approaching the overbought territory, and we look to be pointing downwards. So of course another pullback is necessary in Solana for now. So we'll be looking towards for Solana for another pullback. So we'll be looking towards levels of around 140, there about 139, 140. So once we get to that levels, we'll be looking what to do and what the market and price action is telling us at that point. Looking at SUI quickly, SUI has been doing amazing after the 40% plus move 2 days ago. We look to be above the box range, the range that I've clearly drawn on the chart, and we look to be testing support around the $3.4 levels, and I'll be expecting it to still test further support around the $3.3 levels thereabouts. Then I think a pullback will also be necessary for that. Also, I'll still be looking for a further pullback around to $2.09. So that will be very, very healthy for the SUI chart. But SUI looks extremely bullish. Looking at the RSI, looking overbought to incredibly overbought. So we'll be expecting some pullback. Some pullback is healthy for SUI for further movement. Like I said earlier, there are some fundamentally bullish catalysts that we think that is what is driving the SUI price action. Like the Pokemon Alliance and the Pokemon collaboration that SUI has announced. And again, we have the SUI base camp coming up in 2 weeks' time in Dubai. So all of this is bullish catalyst making up probably the bullish price action. So everybody is front running the different announcements that will be made during the base camp summit. So this is quite interesting for the SUI, and SUI as a layer one overall is looking very, very bullish. A lot of things are going for it, and it looks like a huge contender to the L1 race between Ethereum, Solana, and SUI itself, and Avalanche, and the rest. Looking at the fear and greed index quickly, we are at 65 now. Of course, more greed than yesterday. Yesterday we were at 60, now we are at 65. So we look to be inching little by little in the further greed territory. We look at the crypto markets as a whole, looking at it from an overview, and we can see, like, what just really jumps to us is virtuals. Virtuals right here is about 28.6%. So virtual AI ecosystem on Base is doing very, very well. So one thing we have noticed for the past 1 week, of in altcoins that have been doing very, very well is one, AI agents, two, meme coins. So because you can see Trump here, another meme coin, Fat coin, another meme coin, although it's down 10% on the day. FET is AI, WIF is meme coin, Bonk is another meme coin, Brett is another meme coin, Wild is AI RWA kind of. So you can see that there's a theme going on here, and this is how we spot narratives and categories that are moving very well, and for us to take advantage as traders and the ones that are moving, so we can take advantage of trade, the arbitrage between the trades. And of course, we have to always manage our risk appropriately while we are taking all these trades. So we just move along to fundamental analysis, and we can see that CitiBank, one of the largest US banks, is going to be allowing customers to invest in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin directly from their bank accounts. So this is quite bullish. We see also the UAE Digital Bank RIA as just Sharia Bank has also approved Bitcoin trading. So you can see a lot of institutions are approving customers to be using Bitcoin within their applications. So all this is bullish for we also reported yesterday the Federal Reserve has also lifted the ban and on crypto, that banks should allow customers access crypto products within as financial products and they don't need to report. The banks don't need to report who and what they are doing in cryptocurrency. So this is overall bullish sentiment for the market and for the overall price action. So we can see all of these just gearing up for a violent move to the upside. But us as traders, we understand all of this. All of this is good for our analysis and to inform us on what trade, whether to short the market or long the market, whatever the case may be. Just looking at the altcoin season, because altcoin season would once altcoin season starts, there will be a lot of bullish things happening in the altcoin space. So all of this we are anticipating and we are watching. So altcoin season will be coming soon. So that's something for us to wait and watch, and that's why we are always paying attention to the market, watching it every day, and ready to take a stab at it immediately it happens. There's a green light on it. So we just listened to BitKite, CEO BitKite, talking about Bitcoin, that Bitcoin makes everyone better, makes everything better, and just the bullish case for Bitcoin, really.
And so the better question for guys like you, or these investors probably should be asking, is like, how do you outperform Bitcoin? Like, okay, I have $1 million I want to give to you, or I want to buy Bitcoin with it. How do I make that investment better than just investing in the asset? And that's the best question, because it makes you guys better, it makes the market better, it makes the investor better, it makes everybody better, because they treat going all the way back to one of the first things we were talking about, the opportunity cost of, oh, I just diversified across all these altcoins and shitcoins and whatever, and then I had 2% allocation in Bitcoin, and that 2% saved my ass because it outperformed all this other 98% garbage.
Yeah.
If
it was 100%, it would have outperformed Bitcoin potentially. That's
So we're just saying, how do we outperform Bitcoin? It makes us better. I would suggest, in my own opinion, the way to outperform Bitcoin would be looking at altcoins and outperform the price action of Bitcoin right now, because you can outperform the percentages, the gains on Bitcoin if you get into meme coins very, very early and select altcoins. So all those ways to outperform Bitcoin, those are strategies. But just for people that are much more conservative, Bitcoin is the way to go. Just sit on it. You can also trade it. That's why we are traders. You can trade on short-term time frames, and you can trade long-term, which will be much more kind of like passive investors in that sense. When we just move ahead and look at the Swiss National Bank rejecting calls to add Bitcoin reserves, they are rejecting it. So this is quite interesting that out of with all the bullish narratives and all the banks and institutions getting to this place, Swiss Bank is rejecting all of this and doesn't want to get involved. So maybe they'll regret this choice later in the future. But I suspect all of this is just news, and most likely at the back door or secretly they are already involved in some way, because we saw that with JP Morgan also did that. Even when Jamie Dimon was publicly saying Bitcoin is he would sack anybody that works for JP Morgan that is involved in Bitcoin. But we learned as he was doing that on TV, making that announcement secretly, JP Morgan was loading up on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So, things like that, we take it with a pinch of salt. We look at Dubai authorities are warning of fake tokenized property offerings because we see that is coming from the VARA, Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority. And the Dubai Land Department is giving this public warning because there's a lot of scams going on. And we have seen with the recent one with Mantra, they made a deal with Damak, one of the largest developers here in Dubai. So I think there's a lot of people trying to scam this place. So just for us, just that are involved in cryptocurrency as a whole, just to be wary of anything we click on our computers, and we should just be extra careful and safe. We don't want to be safe and sorry. So we move on and look at the third statue of Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, has just been opened in Japan. And I think there are three statues, like it's written here, there are three statues already of Satoshi Nakamoto, one in Switzerland and one in El Salvador, paying tribute to the creator. Of course, it just shows the invisibility nature of Satoshi Nakamoto because nobody knows who he is. So it's quite clever, the statue. Then we just move on to Anthony Pompliano saying if he was in his early 20s, what all the industries he will focus on for the next decade. And AI is there, humanoid robots, Bitcoin is there. Of course, Bitcoin has to be there. Stable coins is also there. You can see national defense, gene editing, fertility, decentralized systems, cold chain logistics. So you see, he, of course, we just want to highlight the fact that he talked about Bitcoin, AI, stable coins, and you see, this is just highlighting that we are in the right place. We are in the right place. All of us that are involved in cryptocurrencies, in stable coins, decentralized systems, we are in the right place. So sometimes when we look at the price actions and that doesn't reflect the bullish narratives and things that is happening in this space, that doesn't mean that we should stop. That means we should actually continue building anything because we are in the right place at the right time, and this is where millionaires will be made. Just moving on, we see that the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, has slammed Gensler's regime for stifling crypto innovation. So, of course, he's trying to position himself is that he is pro Bitcoin, pro innovation, and pro cryptocurrencies in this space, which is bullish for us. So now we have government on our side, especially the US government. So of course, when you see the US government getting in this, you will see other governments also falling in line and giving pro crypto policies across the board. So this is bullish for the space. You see President Trump is also saying another tariff pause is unlikely. So this is bullish, meaning that there will be no pause and there will be continued renegotiations and continued trade flows, because I believe Walmart, the CEO of Walmart and big giant stores in America, met with Trump last week and warned him there will be shortages of goods across the board, and so all of this is scary and it won't be good for consumers down the board. So Trump had to do something to ease on all of these tariffs and all the restrictions he has been placing upon China and other countries. I think negotiations are also swiftly happening, so they will be scrambling and making sure that they resolve this as soon as possible. Just finally looking at these tariffs, and speaking of the tariffs and everything, and this is just explaining how tariff works, which came back and he shot himself in the foot, meaning Trump shot Trump back in the foot. So just a funny GIF just explaining how tariff works. So we just end the video talking about Bitcoin. So we remain bullish, structurally bullish, and we remain watching the charts. We'll look for the higher lows of today. We'll look for the close of the weekly close candle for tomorrow, which will inform us of what Bitcoin will be doing next week. We also have the token 2049 happening in Bitcoin next week, and we have a slew of cryptocurrency events happening from this weekend really till next week. So a lot of bullish things will be happening, a lot of major news and major alpha will be dropped on this channel. So you guys should stay watching, stay ahead of the markets, stay ahead of price action, so that we take advantage of these as traders. make trades and make money. That's why we're here. Zero to Ferrari. Goodbye.